in case the policy changes? All right, let's get the thoughts from our panel on this. Bronwyn, do you think Australia should be part of any peacekeeping force in Gaza?
No, I don't. We've seen the Prime Minister and Foreign Minister try and take credit for the actions of President Trump with regard to the return of the hostages. We've seen an arrogance in both of them, and this seems to me to be an extension of it. Look, we'll go along and do it too. They weren't invited to the meeting of leaders
in Egypt,
and simply because we are not a power in that part of the world. And I think it should be the people who were at that meeting, who have had a long involvement with that part of the world, that do that peacekeeping work.
Matt, Albanese has openly supported being part of a peacekeeping mission in Ukraine. Now, we haven't heard anything about this from the government. This has emerged through the Defence Force. What do you think about this?
Look, I don't fully, I'm not as firm as Bronwyn has just indicated. I do agree with Bronwyn, though, that the principal contributors to any peacekeeping mission should be the countries in the region. It's their area. They should do the heavy lifting. Look, if there is a particular and specific request from the United States for our help and assistance, I'm sure we'd consider that. We've done so in Iraq, of course, in Afghanistan, in many other theatres around the world. So I'm sure we'd be happy to contribute, but I don't think it would be the principal part of that mission would come from Australia. I also agree with Bronwyn that it's been pretty shameless to see the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister try and take some credit for this amazing result of the President's. I mean, the boss of FIFA soccer was there in Egypt and not anyone from the Australian government. So I think that shows where we rank in terms of generating this result.
Yeah, well, the fact that the President hasn't met Albanese yet, and it's coming up to a year since he won the US election, so that's pretty telling in itself, although, of course, that meeting's expected to happen early next week, unless it's cancelled, of course. You never know. Now, Matt, I'm really keen to speak to you about this one. Now, Nationals leader David Littleproud appears to be backing you in, Matt, because he's told Sarah Eisen in The Australian tonight that he'd welcome any Liberals who choose to defect to the National Party. Now, Matt, this is all your fault, this story. You got the conversation going because it's been reported that you said... Well, wait till I finish.
I'm blamed for lots of... All right, go.
It's been reported that you said that if 7 Liberals defect to the Nationals Party, then the Nationals would have the balance of power in the partnership. So have you been speaking to Liberals about defecting? Is this where this has come from?
Well, as I've said today, Sharri, there's no active conversations going on, but I get blamed for lots of things, and now I'm getting blamed for being able to do maths. It's simple mathematics. It's that close, but it does show how significant a portion of the joint party in the Nationals Party is now. And my number one focus is making sure that we fight behind a banner that says Australia first. I'd love to do that in coalition with the Liberal Party. That partnership has worked, generally worked, for the last 70, 80 years. But if we can't make that work, what's more important is that we fight for the policies that are going to bring our country back from the brink. And so if that takes the Nationals Party taking a greater role, I'm all for it. And of course, if there are Liberal members that want to join us, I'm not going to say no to that. I'd love to see our party room get bigger, just like the Liberal Party did when they took one of our senators after the election. So that's a matter for those Liberal members, though.
But are you speaking to some Liberal members about... Have you said to some Liberal members you should come across?
No, not on an ongoing basis. Not an ongoing basis.
Just
I don't
on a one-off
think
basis.
Is
so that is
serious,
confirmation.
I don't think it's just. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But hey, look, I'm not. You can't shoot me for wanting to grow our party.
No, I'm not.
Any politician worth their salt would want their room, their party room to get bigger and have more influence. So I'd love to see it, but I'm just also pouring some cold water on the eye. I'm not trying to create false hope for our members out there.
That's a good idea, because we've been this route before. 1981 in New South Wales, the leader of the opposition lost his seat, and the result was 69 seats to Labor, 14 Liberal and 14 National. There was a lot of discussion about the Nationals taking the leadership. Sense prevailed because it was known, of course, that the Liberal Party will always be the dominant coalition partner. And so they proceeded on that basis, came sensibly together, got a 7% swing in 84, and then, of course, won resoundingly with Nick Greiner in 1988, when I'm pleased to say I was the state president. So it was a question of saying, all right, we have been smashed. It was called the Randslide. We have been smashed, but now we have to formulate policies that we can build on to win back government. Now,
History's
with all
repeating
the
itself right now.
itself, with all the discussion that people have been having and making profound announcements, the bottom line is that the two issues that dominate this country are the question of the price of electricity and the size of our immigration. And those two cannot be avoided. They must be addressed, and the Liberal Party has to come out with a policy with which the Nats can concur, so you've got a strong coalition that we can go to the next polls and get a swing back to the coalition.
But what if the Liberal Party doesn't do that, Bronwyn? What if they don't do that? You should come join the Nats. Come and join a party that will do that.
I don't think I would ever do that.
I'm pretty confident we are going to fight for that. One way, come hell or high water, we're going to fight for that.
I'm pleased you're going to fight for that.
I'd love to see the Liberal Party join us.
But there are Liberals in the party who know the sense, who know the direction it's got to go, and sense will prevail.
Who are they?
Well, obviously, you've got Jacinta, you've got Mr. Hastie, you've got a lot of people in the background who are there who are good, solid thinkers.
Do you think Jacinta and Andrew Hastie are doing the right thing? Because we've seen...
Of course I do, and I've said so before.
We've seen James Paterson come out this week and basically say that that's not the direction.
No, I saw James Paterson come out and say, don't become populist like Nigel Farage. Well, I think it was important to know that in this country, Nigel Farage as a phenomenon, as a third party, is not possible because of our system of voting with compulsory preferential voting. At the end of the day, you have to vote Labor or Liberal. And that's what allows Albanese to be elected with a third of the vote. So the thing that has to be realised here is it was like the same fight we had when Tony Abbott finally took the leadership in 2009, and by one vote. But he galvanised. He galvanised the direction we had to go to.
I mean, he's the best opposition leader we've had.
Absolutely. And the reason was...
We, as in Australia.
He brought them back.
Clarify.
Yes. Yeah. Who brought the party back to around a point where they could, in fact, unite, because there was a leader who galvanised the thinking and had a policy and a way forward to achieve government, which he almost did in 2010 and did so resoundingly in 2013.
All right, I just quickly want to get to this story before we have to go because it's so fascinating. Australia's fertility has hit a low of 1.48%. Now, Matt, this is being blamed on housing stress, dating apps, cost of living, pessimism of the young generation. But how worrying is this declining birth rate to you?
Well, it's a huge concern for me, and it should be, I think, for all Australians, principally because, once again, the math behind this is extremely scary. If you've got a birth rate of 1.5, roughly that's what this is, it's very simple math. Your next generation will be about half that birth rate in size. And you halve the number because I think it's still the case that only women can have babies. I know the science is evolving very fast here, but because women can only have babies, you divide the 1.5 by 2, you get 0.75. So your next generation, our next generation, will be 75% the size of the current generation. We've got 27 million people. That means the people descended from that will go down to 21. The next generation of that will be 15. And just in 3 generations, we'll have just 11 million Australians descended from those that are Australians today. In 3 generations. That's less than a century. That's how scary this is if this birth rate stays where it is. Then, of course, how do we still maintain our population? Well, again, do the math. You'd have to bring in people from other countries. to maintain a similar or even larger population as projected. So I don't want to see that happen. I want to see us as Australians continue to grow and develop, and that means we've got to have babies to do that. I've done my job. We've got 5, my wife and I. She's great.
You have indeed.
Very, very lucky. We've got 5, and it's great. It's great. It's so special. I've had such a busy afternoon between soccer and basketball and rowing as well. It makes your life so full. So go and have babies.
Yeah, I did a bit of tennis lessons this afternoon. I was writing my script for tonight on the side of it. Bronwyn, is the issue here an economic one primarily? Do you think if that is the case, we need to bring back the baby bonus?
Yes, it is economic, but I think we've got to think more broadly. Now, I did have the opportunity to meet the president of Hungary when she was out here. She had been, excuse me, had been a minister, and now as president. She's a mother of 4, and she said in Hungary the birth rate was through the floor. And what they did is they started looking at things that really mattered. For instance, if my memory serves me, and you might remember also, that if you had 4 children and you were working, you got a house.
Yep.
There were tangible things.
Sort of.
Wow.
You got free tax,
Yes.
no taxes. If you got
No
4 more
taxes.
kids, no
Yes.
taxes in Hungary. For the mum, just for the mum.
Yes, and it's working. It's working because these are incentives for the mother. And rather than saying, here's $5,000 as the Costello baby bonus was, I think that what has gone on in Hungary is definitely worth a good look, because I do think we need incentives. There's also something else I discovered in a committee work that I did at one stage. There's a cohort of men in a lower socioeconomic group who will not partner and not commit to a relationship into which to bring up a child. Now, I think that needs to be looked at too.
I think there probably needs to be a federal government working group on how to increase the fertility rate instead of just, focusing on free childcare. We've got to go though. M.Canavan, Bronwyn Bishop, great to see you as always.